Yes, yes. So, good evening, everybody. Thank you and welcome to Council of African Professionals event. We're here to continue the conversation on International Women's Day, and our theme is Unshakeable: Women, What, and Wellbeing in a Pressured World. Thank you all so much for joining. It's a week-long event, and we're super excited to have our guest today. But before we go into the conversation, we would like to start with the anthem. So please feel free to stand or sit, whichever is comfortable for you, as we go into the anthem. Orefoluwa, please go ahead. Thank you so much. So welcome again to everybody joining us. This is Council of African Professionals events. We are talking about the International Women's Day. We've decided to do it a week long. I mean, International Women's Day really should be 365 days a year because of all the things that women do. And our team again is Unshakeable: Women, What, and Wellbeing in a Pressured World. I will be your host today. So as your host, my name again is Adichisola Atiba. I am a retired banker. I'm into consulting. I do board governance, strategic planning. I'm a coach, an author, a writer, and as many women wear many hats. This is what the agenda looks like. The anthem, we've done it. We're going to go into the land acknowledgement. We'll talk a little bit about Council of African Professionals. We'll talk about our upcoming event. We'll introduce our speaker. Where we'll go into the chat and Q&A if there's any question. So I will again ask Orafe to please read the land acknowledgement in English.
Thank you. The Council of African Professionals acknowledges that our office in Burlington is situated upon the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississauga, the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. We recognize that Burlington is covered by the Treaty 14, also known as the Head of the Lake Purchase, as an organization dedicated to excellence and advancements of the African diaspora. We recognize the deep parallels between the displacements of the indigenous peoples and the forced migration and systemic exclusion faced by Black communities. We honor the enduring presence of all our First Nation, Métis, and Inuit peoples. We value their spiritual and cultural connections to this land. We also celebrate the long-standing history of Black Canadians, whose presence in Ontario dates back centuries. From the early settlers and the freedom seekers who found refuge in this region to the modern professionals of the African diaspora, Black Canadians have been integral to the economic and social fabric of Burlington and beyond. CAP commits to the ongoing work of reconciliation and equity. We strive to build a professional future that honors the land we occupy and supports the prosperity of both Indigenous and Black communities through solidarity, justice, and mutual respect. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So let's talk a little bit about CAP. I mean, the fact that we call Canada home, a lot of us have our lived experiences, and because of that, some of us decide to come together and see how we can support ourselves and also support new people coming in. Support in terms of networking, in terms of professional networking, entrepreneurship, business owners, networking, supporting youth, supporting seniors, basically the holistic family. We know that they always say your network is your net worth. We do a lot of programs, and some of them you will learn about them today. And I would just advise that you visit our website to see more of our programs. It's being updated on a regular basis. So I will go on from there. Again, we're here for this, but we will talk about that soon. Our speaker today is Dr. Paige Afanu. She goes by Paige. We will give our introduction when the time is right. The first day of International Women's Day on March the 8th, we had Miss Valerie Nelson. It was a wonderful, wonderful conversation. It will be posted on YouTube very soon, so watch out. And yesterday we had Ms. Bayode Simpson, another powerful conversation. And so we're truly excited for today because we know that it will be another powerful, because all these women, they have different expertise, different experience, and they're able to share their thoughts with us. Tomorrow, we're going to be having Miss Abby Adekiton. I believe we'll be having Miss Abby Adekiton, and then we'll have Miss Christine Iroko, and on Friday we'll have Miss Oluwabumi Bosede, and finally on Saturday we'll have Miss Adosa Adams Widode. But we're not done. Like I said, we have series of programs that we do. Everybody living in Canada knows that it is tax time. So on Sunday, we will be having March the 15th. We're going to have an accountant coming to the house to talk to us about how to maximize our 2026 refund. And these are other programs that we have. We have the language school for Igbo, French, Yoruba, and Mandarin. If you know anybody or you yourself can support us with any language, any local language, please feel free to reach out to us. Our email will be posted in the chat. And most of this language school starts March 28th. It's just 30 minutes for 4 months. By the time our students are coming out, they will be at least able to say certain sentences in the languages. Also, we have our Black History and Essay Writing event that is coming up. This particular one is in collaboration with Pure Gold in Fredericton, United Colors of Fashion in St. John, and Young Leaders Mentorship, all in New Brunswick. They're collaborating with us for this Black History event. It is an annual essay competition. We usually call it a celebration of youth and culture. So if you know anybody in this area, please reach out to them to take part of this essay. The essay closes March 31st, I believe, and the event itself is on May the 9th. There are 3 categories. More information is actually on the website for this one. And then we have the one that we're going to have in Ontario. So this one is taking place in Milton, but it's taking place on June 20th. I need to update this. And the essay, we'll be accepting essays through like mid-April for this one. So, and we have very exciting things happening during the event. If we don't come out, we're not going to meet people. So we are our keynote speaker. I'm not sure if you can see my screen. Our keynote speaker is actually the Deputy Minister for Culture and Immigration in Ontario. She's going to be the keynote speaker for June 20th event of the essay competition. And we also have our guest speaker, a young man doing wonderful things. He's a founder of nonprofit and also an author. And also, our mentoring will be starting pretty soon. So again, keep your eye on our website or email us if you want to be mentored. This is something that there's a relationship within the mentor and the mentee for about 3 months. So how do we keep our business going? We're nonprofit. We don't make money. We rely on small businesses, on individuals to, donate, advertise with us. And that is why we do need to do a shout out to our businesses. So SDA, have you done your taxes? If you've not done your taxes, you want to reach out to those people. SDA Business Solutions Inc. The phone number is there. The email is there, info@sdabsolutions.net. Reach out to them, and it is actually one of the partners that will be talking more about, saving on taxes at the event that we have on March 15th. Pixel. Do you need to take personal photography, professional, milestone? Reach out to them. That is their handle on Instagram, Pixel. Let's talk about risk insurance. You want to talk to Tomi Ogundipe because it's important for us to have the right insurance in place. I talk about insurance as transferring your risk. If you have a family, you need insurance. Unique Designs is a clothing company, a Canadian clothing company. Right now, they have bed sheets, towels, lingeries, robes. Visit their website, www.uniquedesigns.ca. And this is a book that I wrote, Authenticity, How My Wellbeing Movement Shaped My Life. If you just want to learn about other people's, life stories, and gain a better understanding and be grateful for where you are, I would recommend to get a copy. It's on Amazon. Are you looking to make a website for yourself? Amazing Mind is able to support you with any budget. What can we do without the prayers, right? The Alicon Days National Church and respectfully, Archbishop Prof. Williams, they are a supporter of CAP. And this is a digital platform where I support youths, newcomers, and women. Also, we do have supporters, people that have supported us, organizations that have supported in the past. And we tend to shout out to them because we also want them to continue to support us. So we have BPTN, we have RBC Royal Bank, we have Canadian Race Relations Foundation. And there's so many nonprofit charitable organizations doing some of the things that we do that we collaborate with. And so we do want to appreciate them also. Alliance Creative Community, and respectfully, I mentioned His Royal Highness King Nanayo Osam I, the African Caribbean Council of Alton, Grandmothers' Voices, an indigenous organization, Seas Center, a Chinese organization, Daycare Foundation, support caregivers, Black Business Edmonton, United Colors of Fashion New Brunswick, Account Ottawa, Naira, and many, many, many more. So at CAP, we have two main events. The essay writing competition that's happening in New Brunswick and in Milton, and this event, the platform. So the platform, this is going to be the 6th year that we've been doing this. So if you know anybody that is a speaker, let them reach out to us. through our email, capprofessionals.org@gmail.com. We will put the email and the website and our newsletter link on the chats, so you can connect with us and stay in touch. Also, apart from speaking and talking about making change happen, we do know that we have people that are already change makers within our community, people that are doing things selflessly, volunteering their time, uh, building other people and holding other people, supporting others. And it could be organizations too. And so we have series of awards that we give out to continue to appreciate these people for the job that they do, and also to encourage others to follow suit, because we know that if we're not really creating impact in this world, then what are we really doing? So on that note, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I will use the opportunity to introduce our speaker for today. So our speaker, Dr. Paige Afanu, is a certified management consultant and development expert with a track record of advising organizations across the public, private, and nonprofit sector. She specializes in business transformation, process optimization, operational excellence, and digital enablement, helping leaders translate complex challenges into practical strategies, improved performance, and measurable outcomes. As a founder and strategic advisor, she supports innovation that strengthens systems, expands access, and delivers inclusive community level impact. Dr. Afano is an international speaker and mentor, known for clear, action oriented insights on leadership, resilience, and sustainable growth. Her work champions women's empowerment and purpose driven leadership anchored in well being, boundaries, and long term effectiveness. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dr. Paige Afanu. We do have our emojis, so please feel free to use it. It doesn't cost anything, just a tap. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank
How are you
you. Thank
today?
you. I'm very well, thank you. I've had a long day in New York, so I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so very much. It's truly, truly a pleasure to have you. So I know I read, the resume that you sent over, but is there anything else you want everyone to know?
So what would I say? I'm just gonna say I'm a woman that believes deeply in purpose and growth and service and resilience. I believe I'm very passionate about impact, and that's the core of who I am. I love to look at how to impact lives, not just people around me, but at community level. What can I do to help people? How can I help organizations? How can I help take people at, especially at the grassroots level, which I do a lot of work in. How do I take them from where they are and help them to become self-sustaining? How do I help them to become successful in their journeys in life? And the key driving factor are the sustainable development goals. How do I take these and bring them down to communities? And that has been like the mainstay of most of my interactions, most of the work that I do. And I'm somebody that also understands pressure. I understand what it means to carry responsibility. I understand what it means to show up, to lead, to build, and at the same time still be human, still be smiling every day, still act like there's nothing going on. So when I'm speaking today, I'm not speaking as someone who has avoided pressure. I'm speaking as someone who has had to learn how to you know be steady, how to stand steady within all that pressure, because every single day in life you're faced with one thing or the other, one project not going according to plan, one thing, just every day is like there's one pressure or the other, but being able to transcend that and still be able to do something and still be able to impact people's lives. I think that's one of the most important things for me. It's not about the wealth that you build. It's not about um, the legacy for me. Legacy for me would be the number of lives that I've been able to impact. Is the number of lives that people that would look back and say, oh my gosh, that was a very good woman. That was somebody that was there for me, and it's not about social media hype. It's not about going on the screen and say, oh, I did this, or doing videos to showcase all those things. It's about, I'm a woman of faith, and I value that deeply. How, remember the story in the Bible, how somebody gave the widow's mite, she gave it in secret, she didn't have to announce that this is all I have, but it's that's the way I say that the God that sees in secret will bless you in secret as well. So it's not about the noise, and it's good. Sometimes the noise is good, because if you're able to use that noise to you know create more impact, then yes. And that's why I do a lot of collaborations. I don't try to do it myself. If I see somebody doing something good, I'll rather just work with you rather than trying to. I do these things on my own, but I do them quietly, right? But if I see somebody that has something that I can help them amplify it as well, I'll be more than happy to amplify, because the
Thank,
more noise we make, the more people we can impact. So yeah, that's
thank, thank,
that's me in a nutshell.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. The passion, whose is true. Thank you so much. Thank you for all you do. And, the first day I met you, I knew that this is a woman that knows exactly what she wants, what she's doing, and where she's going. And based on everything I've learned about you, I know that there's been a lot of impact given. And so my next question is, what do you think about the topic
Mm.
unshakable women, what and well-being in a pressured world? Now I'm gonna add a caveat. The global theme is give to gain. So if you can marry the two together, that would be
Yeah,
great.
I'll
Thank you.
try my best. Okay, so let me just say that being unshakable to me doesn't mean that you're not untouched by pressure, right? Because it's being able to it doesn't mean that you don't cry, you don't doubt, you're not tired, you don't need help. It's about the inner anchor, that, with all the pressure that is going on around you, with all that life is throwing at you, you're able to stay rooted, completely rooted in your core, in who you are. Because we live in a world where there's so much pressure on women. I was at an event over the weekend, the Techstars women, and we, one thing that was said was that resonated, because we're having like conversations around what women face. Women seem to be under a lot of pressure to keep performing and to keep delivering, and we also make that gives us even more pressure. We're also always so hard on ourselves, because nobody is everybody expects so much from us, so we're expected to achieve, we're expected to nurture, provide, perform, we're expected to be super women, and still remain like unflustered, while we're doing all of these things. And meanwhile, a lot of women out there carrying emotional pressure, financial pressure, family pressure, professional pressure, and even the silent pressures that they don't even want to speak about, and so when I think about being unshakable, for me, it's three things. It's about your worth, your identity, and your well-being. It's, as a woman, you need to know your worth, and you need to know, and it's not based up, shouldn't be based on what you produce. It's not about how much sacrifices you're making, or how available you are to whoever needs your attention. I think your worth is intrinsic. You need to, something that you need to own yourself. It's not, you don't earn it through exhausting yourself. You don't become someone with worth because you're overdoing things, you're a superwoman. No, your worth is something that you know yourself, that I know what I bring to the table, I know my value, I know who I am. And the moment you know who you are, that it takes me to the second thing, which is your identity. You need to know who you are, and you need to define that intentionally. You don't let the world define who you are, because if you allow them, they start to define it based on your what you're producing, your output, your relationships, your marital status, your appearance, your age, or how helpful you are, or what they can get from you. If you don't know yourself, it's about just you knowing this is who I am before the world defines who you are for you. So you personally, you have to define yourself. You have to define your worth. You have to define your value. And the type of value you place on yourself is the same way you're going to translate it into the world. And that is how the world will perceive you as well. And the third thing I'm going to look at is the well-being. True strength includes rest. A lot of times we try to be superwoman. I've said that so many times, because one thing they always say about women is we're strong. When I want to describe myself, I don't want to describe myself as strength, like have one power, like a superhero that just comes and just, you have all the answers to all the questions. You just come in there and then come like there's no issue, and then they bash you. You know how it is when you watch all these movies, and they keep hitting the superhero, and then it just comes out again, and you're like, what? That's not real. That's that's somebody, that's a man's imagination, and I think he was thinking of women when they made all of those things, because nobody can you keep giving, and when you keep giving, you need to be honest with yourself. You have to be emotionally, mentally, physically, psychologically honest with yourself, because you can only be successful when when that success is sustainable, when you're able to carry yourself. If you keep pouring out, if you don't, you can't pour from an empty vessel, because the moment you keep pouring out and pouring out, and you're not refilling or refueling or taking a break and say, okay, let me just look at where am I? Where's my vessel at this time? You're not going to review where your vessel is. You just either you run out of something to pour because you didn't realize you were really low, or you don't even know how to refuel because you don't even want to rest. You don't think rest is something you deserve as a woman. But the truth is, every single person deserves to rest. Every single person needs to prioritize her well-being. As a woman, it's not about, oh, I have to do this. No, even from your family, your kids, they need to know that mommy needs to rest, and you have to have like a me time that you've created for yourself. So your well-being is so important. So for me, unshakable means being rooted, not rigid, but being rooted in knowledge of who you are, knowledge of yourself, understanding of, and being intentional about it. It means grounded in truth, not performance. You're not going to try to perform for the world, which is what a superhero is doing. They're only performing. It's being grounded in truth, that I'm not a superwoman, I'm not a superhero, I'm human like you, and I break down, I get tired, I need to refuel as well. I need to be appreciated for the things that I do, which is the way you gain. When I'm giving out so much. The only way I can gain something back, the only way I can get refueled is when you appreciate me, which helps me refuel as well. But when you keep giving and nobody's even appreciating what you're doing, it's not about just giving because you want to. Even when you say, sometimes we look at give to gain, you're not giving because you're expecting something back, right? Give to gain, in my own understanding, is I'm going to give, but I expect that you would appreciate what I've done. You would appreciate me in such a way that I'll be able to gain more happiness and joy from what I've done, right? That's where I gain from, because I know that if I'm giving, I'm also making the world a better place. I'm changing, making a difference one way or the other. And those are the things that give me joy. Those are the things that give me satisfaction. So it's about you thinking of, what have I given? what do I expect to gain from that giving, from that moment in time? So and knowing that you don't have to lose yourself to prove that you're doing something, or you're giving something. You don't have to lose yourself in that process. That's very, very critical.
Thank you so much. That's really a lot to unpack. But the most important thing that I heard is know yourself, and don't give from an empty vessel.
Yeah.
And then when you give, that there's certain ways that you can gain back, which will help you to refuel. Actually, during one of our sessions, I remember one of our speakers saying that when she hears about give to gain, the give, one is given to yourself, taking care of yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to run out of whatever fuel or whatever you're using, and then giving to the world. For me, I know that we give to the world in so many capacities: as a leader, as a mentor, as a woman. We wear many hats. And I remember somebody saying we wear many masks, depending on where we are. But I think that's a good segue to the next question. Based on what you've said so far, this question is all about self-leadership in a pressured world. What boundaries then have been most important in protecting your peace, personally or professionally? And, based on what you've done, what would you advise to others? How can we set those boundaries to protect, our peace?
Yeah. So for me, I would say, because you have access to me doesn't mean you're entitled to me, so access is not the same as entitlement, because a lot of people, because they have access to you, they feel that they're entitled to your attention, they're entitled to you responding to them or doing whatever they expect of you. So you need to let people understand that because you have access doesn't mean that you are entitled to me, do you understand, as a person, or to my time, or to my resources, because people take those things for granted. And it's important to set the boundaries, because the moment you start being nice to people, or the moment you start to show up and you're very consistent and you're very reliable, people tend to take advantage of that. And you need to set those boundaries and say, I can't, you can respond to everything, even in the professional setting as well. You need to know you can attend to everything. You can respond to everything. You can carry everybody along. You can't, if you're going to be effective or remain productive, you can't do all of those things. You can't carry the weight that should be spread across board and carried on because you feel that everybody says, oh, don't worry, leave it with Paige, she'll sort it out. She's Mrs. Fix It. There's nothing like there's no glory in being Mrs. Fix It. Mrs. Fix It is just a way of telling you that you're the slave, using you as a slave of a slave driver, turning you to a slave, because you start to feel very good with yourself and you're feeling, oh yes, no, you're not. So you're going to you'll just kill yourself. So don't try to be a Mrs. Fix It. Build boundaries and set real boundaries and say, my time, if it's your job, do your job when you're supposed to do it. Don't expect me to do it for you because you know that if you don't do it, I'll pick it up. No, I'm not going to pick up your mess for you. I'm not going to pick up your task. It's your job. Do it. Unless I say that it's extraneous situations that you're not able to do it. In that case, yes, I can step in for you, right? You need to also let people know that you don't need to have access to my time, to my energy, to my attention. Even your spouse, you need to know that, okay, I think I need a me time. Your children, I need some time to myself. So you need to set those boundaries. And you need to be intentional about it. And you need to say, this is what I'm going to say yes to. This is what I'm going to delay. This is what I'm going to somebody else to do. And this is what I'm going to say no. And be confident and be able to say no and not feel bad about it. Because a lot of times we tend to, when you say no, you have this way of feeling bad. But you need to know that it's not everything that is yours to solve. It's not every problem that you can. The world has too much pressure as it is. Don't add extra pressure on yourself and think that, oh, it's only, oh, well, I can do it. It doesn't take me 5 minutes. But no, you don't have to do it, because that 5 minutes is eating into your well-being one way or the other. Is eating into a time that you should have used for something productive for yourself or to rest or something, and you just keep doing it and doing it, and before you know it, 5 minutes becomes 10, 20, 30, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and it keeps growing. So you need to know when to stop, to sit back and say, no, I'm not doing this because I need to protect my peace. I need to, yes, I understand your disappointment. I understand that you're going to project it on me and all of that, but no, I'm not going to have that, right? We're going to set boundaries, and I'm going to be able to rest and not feel feel guilty about it. I'm going to rest without apology to anybody. And then when you get to that place, you need to know that I've earned this, as a woman. You need to become, protective of yourself, because I had a session last week on mental health, and you find out that if you start, these things lead to a lot of trauma over time. It could affect your mental health, and you don't even realize it. You get depressed. You just sit down. You're like, what kind of life is this? I'm just tired, and you don't know where this is coming from. You don't realize that it's from all the pressure from outside that is coming in. So you need to think of how to keep these things out, so that you can heal, you can mend yourself, and you need to do it unapologetically. Because for me, it's not what you ask yourself these questions: what is mine to carry? What is not mine to carry? And what must I do to protect myself so I can continue to show up well every single day? The moment you're able to set those things for yourself, to answer those questions for yourself, then you start to find inner peace, and then you start to find the path to setting those boundaries, because you know that you've defined it. It starts from you defining those things.
Thank you so much. And I mean, if you don't define it, then people will define it the way they see it.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck with whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
The most important thing that I got from her is the power of no. You said, what's mine to carry? We can't carry the weight of the world. It doesn't matter how we look at it, right? We do have limited capacity, and so it's very important to set those boundaries and work within it. Thank you very, very much for that. So, so we talk about setting boundaries, but what does recovery actually require? So we're burnout. This question has to do with burnout recovery and sustainable success. What does recovery actually require? We've given and given and given, and we're at a stage where we can't give anymore. So what do we do?
So hinge it on 3 things. I would say honesty first. You need to be honest with yourself. A lot of times you just we're tired. A lot of women out there, we're all tired. You're depleted, and we don't want to acknowledge it. We try to minimize it and make it seem like it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal. You're so overwhelmed with so much going on, family pressure. They try to say work-life balance. I don't think there's any woman that has ever been able to create a balance between work and life. So one would always suffer for the other. And anybody that tries to do that and say, oh, I want to make sure that everything is balanced, you will just kill yourself, And we keep trying to say everything is fine, our mind, our body. You're getting signals, you're seeing things that something is wrong with my body, but you keep pushing. You'll be taking painkillers, you're having a headache all the time. You keep dosing yourself with painkillers that it'll be fine, or things like that. But the only way you can recover, the only way you can actually set yourself on the path to recover is when you begin to be honest with yourself. When you start saying the truth to yourself and say, I think I'm burning out. I think I really need to take a step. I need to just stop. Just the first thing is just be honest and just stop everything. And then giving yourself the permission to do that, because you need to give yourself that permission. You need to be able to say, I need to ask for help. I need help. Because most times we're so afraid to do that. You need to say, Pedro, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay not to be everything to everyone. It's okay to recover without feeling guilty about it, without feeling ashamed of yourself that, oh, I failed, or I'm a bad mother, or I'm a bad wife, or I'm a bad colleague, or I'm not good at my job. No, it's okay. And that's the only way that you can get on the path to healing, because you're not strong all the time. Everything, if you keep putting pressure on even the strongest of anything, if you keep applying pressure consistently, with time, it's going to break. Just look at yourself as that thing that if you keep putting those pressure and you don't stop and you don't find time to rebuild yourself, which is taking me to the third part, to rebuild yourself, it's going to break. And when it breaks, it's going to be worse than if you had just taken that time out. So you need to don't wait until you get burnt out before you start refreshing, before you start rebuilding. Is when you burn out, you can't just say, oh, I'll just take a nap and I'll be fine. That would have happened before you get burnt out, right? Those naps were like prevention. So you have to be proactive, not reactive, because taking a nap is reacting, and it's not going to solve the problem, because at that stage it is too advanced. When you have an acute condition, like I'm talking medical terms, so if you have an acute condition, it's something that is short term. But when it becomes chronic, you cannot treat a chronic condition with the same medication that you used to treat an acute condition, because at that stage it is like pro max, so it is going far more advanced. So you probably need maybe the sleep of maybe you were supposed to be taking 30 minutes nap every day, in between, to reset yourself. By the time you add it to 10 years of 30, you know how many days of sleep you're going to need to be able to rebuild. So it means having a structure. You need to set a structure, because if you don't set a structure, then you're not going to be able to rebuild. You need to be able to say, okay, this is the kind of routine I want to stick to now. I want to make sure that every weekend I go to the spa. I have to have me time. I don't take on extra work. Home by 4 o'clock. My work is done by 5 o'clock. I'm not doing anything extra that is not my work, or maybe taking on a colleague's extra hours or extra job just because they didn't do what they're supposed to do. I don't want to do that. What are the things that I want to do for myself? Do you want to go into therapy? Do you want to start beginning to develop yourself spiritually? Because sometimes you want to go spiritual as well. Sometimes you find peace, you find the answers in spirituality. So you want to think, do I want to delegate this? Can I do everything? Can somebody else do this thing? If that person can't do it, do you want to? There was some things someone said to me, I don't know. I say, if you hire somebody, if you're like an entrepreneur and you hire somebody, if you don't hire right, be confident enough to fire fast. Right, because if you keep holding on to that wrong person, that is additional burden on yourself. As a person, I don't micromanage people. I engage you because I know that you know what to do. So if you don't know what to do, then what are you doing? Why are you still there? Because if you are not doing it, then somebody has to do it. And who is that person? Then you. So why you pay? It's like you're paying yourself a salary to punish you, to give you more work, So you might as well not pay that person. So it's important to know what I can delegate. And when you have all of these things, you can start thinking of what kind of emotional support do you now need from those around you, from your friends, from your family, from your society, from your community, from your colleagues. What kind of support do you need? And you have to just be positive, and you can't but not positively saying, oh, everything is going to be fine. No, but you have to be willing to change. And then when you start to change, you start to define how am I living, what am I tolerating, what are the type of systems that I want to build going forward around myself, around my life. And you should start asking yourself some questions like, what are the things in my life that is draining me, right? And what type of support do I think I need? And then what sort of structures do I need to put in place that would help me succeed, that would not keep costing me my well-being, and not just succeed one time, that you keep it going. So you're able to sustain it. You have to define those structures and stick to them strictly. And I'm also agile. I'm an agile coach. So it's one thing to say, so what the structures that work today doesn't necessarily mean those structures will work in the next 2 years or 3 years, because circumstances would change. A lot of things will change in your life. So you need to also keep refining it and reviewing it and say, okay, do I have more time to do this thing now? Okay, I have, there's more time on my hands, or my time is shrinking. I need to reevaluate and think of a better way to make this work for me. So don't just say, I've set a structure is rigid. No, you have to be flexible and keep reviewing it and do like retrospective of yourself and see, where am I today? Where was I yesterday? Where do I see myself being in the next year, 2 years? I keep setting those goals for yourself and iterating it consistently.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so much. You said a lot of things, but what I'm taking away is, it's not just about the recovery. It's also about the sustainability, because you don't want to be falling back into that burnout stage. Thank you, and I'm super happy and excited that this is recorded. These are things that I really would recommend everybody, going back to, and you know, taking whatever works for each and every one of us. You talked about therapy, and this is the second time that we're actually talking about it. It's important for us to know when to ask for help, when to seek professional support, and not feel ashamed about it, right? Thank you so much. So we'll go. So the next question is actually on mental health. You actually talked about it, because how do women overcome guilt when choosing themselves? Rest, therapy, saying no. So you talked about it, but I don't know if there's anything more you want to add to that.
I would say, so when we look at ourselves, we're conditioned to always believe that as a good woman, you must be always available. You must always and continue to make sacrifices, continue to accommodate, and then you start feeling like when you choose yourself, you're being selfish. But you need to know that choosing yourself sometimes is a necessity for you. It's important that you know when to choose yourself, and preserving your mental health would help you also find clarity in your life. When you're saying, oh, I'm not being selfish, right? I'm preserving my health, I'm preserving my life, I'm preserving my future, because if anything happens to you, it's going to have long-term effects on you. So you need to start thinking of, what are the unhealthy patterns that I want to start breaking, right? And it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you have to do things that are not normal, or that go all out and be just crazy about it. No, but you have to be systematic about it. You need to find a way to reframe your rest, your therapy, and when to say no. And it's not like you're not being rebellious. You need to remember that I'm not being rebellious, and what are my responsibilities towards others. And when you rest, you find out that you can think better. You're more productive as well. You're able to show up better, show up more. And when a woman says no, it's something of dignity for her, and it's allowing her to make space for what is better aligned for her, what is better, what suits her most, what would help her to be a better person. So we need to start to detach ourselves from that mentality of, oh, my self-worth is in my usefulness. That mentality needs to change. When you're resting, you still have worth, because that rest is something that has a value in your life, to be able to help you show up every day, to be able to show up, and not just show up well, show up with your mind sharp, show up with all your arsenals. So rest is very critical, and you need to know that you are worthy of healing. You're worthy, even when you disappoint your friends, even when you say no, you are worthy, because you're choosing what is healthy for you. You're knowing I'm not, you need to just overcome that guilt of, well, I don't care who is happy with me or not. I don't care if somebody's going to be happy, but you now need to start thinking of, what will be the cost of abandoning myself? What is that cost to me? What is that cost to my family if I continue to abandon myself? When you evaluate that cost, then you will be able to feel more confident. You'll be able to feel comfortable. You normalize it. You normalize saying no. You would normalize seeking help when you need it. You would not feel like, I have to be everything to everyone, but I just have to be everything to myself. And when I'm able to be everything to myself and I'm at my best, I'm at my top, that's the only time I'll be able to show up and be able to support any other person that needs me. So with that, you know that, okay, this is where I say no, and no is no, and I'm not going to feel bad about it.
Thank you so much. And I just wanted to, throw it out there. This conversation is very, very necessary, because we know that as women, we always go the extra mile. And so, how can we now help ourselves out? And that's what we're talking about, all these various strategies. It doesn't mean that we stop being who we are. It doesn't mean that we stop being the nurturer. It doesn't mean that we stop being the leader. It doesn't mean that we stop to give, because really, when we give, we gain a lot. But what we're saying is, don't give too much that you lose yourself. Don't give too much that you find yourself in a position where it's unhealthy, too much that you find yourself where your mental health is impacted. So, what are the
Yeah.
strategies to walk in this space? In this, whether we like it or not, the world is just a lot happening around, and we are always at the center of it. So, how can we take care of ourselves to continue to continue to show up authentically, just like a speaker has said, to be able to help? Because if we can't help ourselves, how can we help anybody else? Right?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to throw it out, because people may be thinking, why are we talking about not helping, doing things differently? It's because we need to learn to say no. We can't
Yeah.
say yes to everything. We're not
Mhm. Mhm.
superwoman. We're just us, and us is what we got, and we got to take care of the us, right? So,
Yeah.
so thank you again. So I want to talk about digital pressure, social media. You know, how do women reclaim their voice when online spaces feel hostile, noisy, or performative?
Hmm. I did a session last year on 16 days of activism. One of the things we talked about was digital abuse, online abuse. It's not just about um beating somebody, but a lot of women's voices have been shot through online attacks. And this is a pressure that women are facing. Men do it, they get away with it. A woman, there's a lot of shaming, there's so much going on. And one thing we need to understand is that being visibility does not mean validity. It's not the same thing. You can be out there showing off yourself, and you can be loud online, doesn't mean that whatever it is the person is saying is true. It's not health. It might not be healthy for you. It might not be worthy or of your peace. So you don't need to listen to it. A lot of people project their insecurities on other people. A lot of people project the things that they don't have and let other people start to feel inconsequential, or let they start to feel like they are not enough. But the truth is, You need to know your self-worth and your value, which is where we started from. Know who you are. And then once you know your worth, it doesn't matter what is going on out there. It doesn't matter, because it would, so much is going on that you see somebody will tell you they are doing so well, but a lot of it is just showcase. They just dress up, look good for the videos and the content that they're creating. Doesn't necessarily mean who they are. And then it starts to create pressure on you to also try to perform. You want to start performing, you want to start dancing and doing things that are not you because you feel that's what everybody is doing. You want to start defending yourself. You try to explain so much. You're constantly trying to package yourself, looking for the most expensive designer bag because, oh my God, you're just going to kill yourself. But what at the end of the day, you find out that you've lost yourself in the process of trying to please the world. And that's the worst thing you can do to yourself, losing yourself because of other people. Because these same people that are praising you today will be the same people that will take you down when you do something wrong. So you live your life for yourself. You don't let the world define who you are as a woman. You define who you are, your worth, your value by yourself, for yourself. What do you believe in? What are things I actually value? What are the things that I want to say? And then it doesn't have to be what people would want to hear. But it's about being authentically you. It's about being yourself and being true to yourself and being honest and not trying to, conform yourself to what is socially acceptable or what is trending, or as they say, clock it. You're trying to clock it. You're trying to, you're trying to do all these crazy trends and just trying to fit the bandwagon. But the truth is, doesn't mean you're going to be accepted, and you keep overdoing, overreaching, and you keep stretching and stretching, and that is what would also end up leading to a burnout, because you get into a point that nothing satisfies you again, because you don't seem to be able to satisfy your audience. So you need to perform for yourself. You don't need to perform for the world. When you perform for yourself and you're very happy in that shell that you find yourself, when you've become comfortable in your authentic self, you find out that whatever the world says, it wouldn't matter. You don't have to respond to everything somebody says to you, every what they call it, shade that they throw at you. It's not every comment that you need to respond to. You need to pick which one is important, which one deserves your attention, and which one does not deserve it. You create boundaries. You can block people that feel that are creating a lot of pressure. You can unfollow pages that you feel are affecting your mental health and your mental well-being as well. I feel like this page is creating too much pressure on me. I need to just get out of this space. There are groups that I have archived because in those groups, the kind of conversations they have, it's affecting my mental health. When I open it, I'm getting anxiety attacks. I don't want to be in that kind of space. So you need to define what you let into your space, what you let into your brain, what you let into your heart and your mind. So when you see those kind of things, be quick to exit and say, nah, I don't want this. I don't want to be involved in this. I don't want you to affect my mental health. I don't want to keep having anxiety attacks because of what are you paying me for this? No. So why do I have to tolerate it? So you need to stop looking at performance as presence. No, you have to be present for yourself, and you don't have to be loud to be powerful. You can be very quiet. And then I always believe one thing, your action speaks louder than words. So it's not about what you shout, how noisy you are. They say the empty barrel makes the loudest noise. So it's not about the noise, but about performing. There's some people that are quiet achievers. They're just quietly delivering, quietly performing. There's no noise, there's no drama, there's no validity from social media or anything. You're just being yourself. You're showing up for yourself. And at the end of the day, you're able to share your authentic self to the world. And the online community does not prove your worth for you to be real, for you to be a person. And when you find out that you become stronger, and that would come from a place of conviction in yourself, in your worth, in your value, in your identity, in your true self. Is not going to come from a place of pressure.
Wow, thank you so much. You said a lot, but what I do want to add is the fact that we're actually that AI is disrupting a lot of things, right? I mean, it's one thing. It's one thing to wanna perform for the world. Now, with people leveraging AI to do all sort of things that is actually maybe not real, and you're still performing against that. So it's really, really important for every woman to try as much as possible to know who they are and to reduce the noise, because we're the only ones that can do it for ourselves. You said if I'm in a platform that gives me stress, puts me under pressure, there's no peace being there. Get out.
Yeah.
Especially if it's not something that is paying you. Even if it's paying you, it gets to a level where you decide it's enough already, and you still need to move on, because it is the people that is alive that can work or can do a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's, I know people don't use this word too much anymore, but I remember when technology became really mainstream, we started hearing about it. And if I think around, actually, when I published that book, FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah.
How do we handle, because fear of missing out, fear of uncertainty, job disruption, income pressure, global instability, like we're seeing everything right now, without panic as women. What do you think?
So AI, a lot of people are afraid of AI, and the truth is, the world is changing, everything is evolving, and it's important. One of the constant thing in life is change, and I tell people that for me, AI is something that every single person needs to understand. You need to leverage it, because AI has made me become, I feel like I'm super intelligent. I feel like I'm a genius, right? Because if you're an intelligent person, imagine taking that your brain and timesing it by 1,000. Do you know what that means? So rather than be afraid of, yeah, you should be thinking of what are the tools that I need to learn? What are the things that, how do I empower myself better? How do I leverage AI better to become phenomenal? How do I use AI for my presentations, that when I'm dropping out the presentations, people are like, what, babes, what? How did you do this? And I'm like, don't worry. When I tell people my best friend, they're like, who's your best friend? I'm like, oh, don't worry, my chat GPT, because I'm able to write, I can deliver presentations, I can deliver proposals in less than a day, something that will take me 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month to put together. Now in 1 hour, because you train your AI thinks like you train your AI to become a mini you, and then that is taking a mini you and amplifying it by 1,000. Do you know what that means? So if you don't leverage AI, if you don't know how to leverage AI, if you don't know how to maximize AI, then you're going to be missed. That's the biggest fear of missing out, because at that stage you're going to miss out. Yes, a lot of jobs are going to be replaced by AI. Like SOC analysts, level 1 SOC analysts are gradually going to be phased out by AI, because this is something AI can do and do it confidently. But there's still some roles, but AI still needs some level of human thinking. AI can still not operate autonomously. It still needs human to check it, because with AI, it's garbage in, garbage out. If you tell it nonsense, it will confidently tell you nonsense. And if you are stupid yourself and you don't have a brain and you take that nonsense and go and regurgitate the nonsense, then you will just look like a fool. So the same way AI can make you look like super intelligent, the same way AI can make you look like you're super stupid. So you can be taking AI and say AI is a no. No, AI is just a robot that takes information, you feed it, and it tries to, you know, match it with all other data, pull data from different sources, and come up with a report for you. But it will only think the way you think. So you need to start thinking in a way that, how can I make my AI agent think like me? How can I replicate myself in my agent? So when I'm asking it questions, it knows exactly what I want. It knows exactly, if I put, the truth of the matter is that if two of us write two prompts in our AI engine, right? Do you realize we'll get two different results?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Obviously it's thinking like you. My agent would think like me. So if we take it and we put it side by side, we'll definitely not get the same result. So why are you now afraid of AI? You're supposed to be using AI to improve your skills, to improve yourself, to find how you can be better and become a better person and become a better whatever it is you are, because that is the only way you can get better faster. So stop getting scared. I'll tell people, don't get scared. Look at what are the jobs that AI can take out and start upskilling yourself if you need to upskill yourself. You need to start at how do you adopt AI? How do you adapt your thinking? You have to be more strategic in your thinking because AI is coming and there's nothing that is stopping it. Now AI is now meant for people that know that will be able to. So the people that are going to become successful in the next couple of years are the people that know how to use AI. Not people that are afraid of AI, the people that know how to use AI. So everybody needs. I mentioned I went for this Texters weekend, and I'm like, over the weekend, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm dulling myself here. I didn't even know these things happen. There's so much that I don't even know. A lot of us are just restricting ourselves to ChatGPT when there's so many tools out there that can help us deliver results with a snap of our fingers just by leveraging those AI agents. So please, nobody should be afraid of AI. We need to embrace it. We need to adopt it. We need to look at it as something that we own, something that we instead of getting panicked about it, instead of saying, AI is coming, what do I do? No, AI is coming. How do I learn more about AI? How do I become the queen, like, the madam of AI? How do I become the queen? How do I master AI to the level that when people want to talk, I'm giving them results? You want to do a report, you have a conversation with your team, and you're, okay, we need to do this report, and you go back and 10 minutes later you're sending something that would have taken 10 days, 1 week to develop, and you're creating a presentation, doing a demo, sending it to your client, and they're like, wow, that is the future. How do you accelerate delivery? Because that's what AI is going to help you do. It's going to accelerate every single thing that you're doing. So what would have taken you 10 days, 10 years to achieve, you can achieve it in milliseconds. So how do you own that? How do you learn how to use it? How do you exploit it? How do you milk it? You need to know how to milk it, and milk it very well, and take all the juice out of it. And so I'll say this, you need to, instead of panicking, you need to prepare. Instead of freezing in that bubble and saying, oh, I don't know what to do, you need to start learning how to use AI. And instead of shrinking and say, oh, I'm not good enough, no, you need to start repositioning yourself in the workplace, in life, in everything, because you can ask your AI questions today and it's going to give you questions. Practically everything in our lives are being run by AI. So you need to move from fear to a point of resilience. And that's the only way you're going to be able to maximize AI and use it to the fullest, to your advantage, to make you a better person as well.
So, in short, women need to learn how to use AI.
Oh, yes. Yes, 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 yes.
Oh, okay. So actually yesterday every day we have conversations, a question around AI, and we were talking about maybe even co-creating,
Still no.
creating an event that will focus on women and AI. Just to learn together. Because when we learn together, it becomes even more understandable for a lot of people. So that's something that we may need to reach out to you and a few others to help us put together, because this is something that we can't avoid. When you keep saying AI is coming, I wanted to say, is it not here yet?
It is. It is. It is. It's taking
Right?
over. AI has
So,
taken over.
yeah, so it's here and it's still coming. We haven't seen this is not the end of it. There's still so much to come. So thank you so very much for that. So whether we like it or not, a lot of us perform. We perform instead of practicing. We tend to show ourselves as being powerful, having all the strength, having all the answers to do things, instead of practicing support, asking for help when we need it. But what do you advise we do differently based on everything we've talked about today?
I think we need to start practicing support, right? And because a lot of women, we know how to smile while we're struggling, we know how to lead even when we're tired, we keep giving when we're empty, we keep carrying load while we're, even while we're hurting, everything is going upside down for us, and you're still smiling, and to me is when you're performing strength. You're just trying to show up as, oh, I'm strong. No. And you can't, we feel we can afford to fall apart in motherhood, in leadership, in business, in relationship, in everything, in community spaces, even in church. We're afraid to fall apart, and we've become so comfortable with and so used to being, this dash is so strong, there's no, see that I'm not strong. I'm not strong. I don't want to be strong. I want to be soft. I want to be a woman. I want to bask in my softness and my warmness. I want to enjoy it. I don't want to be seen as I'm not a man. A man is, when they look at a man, you're looking at a man in strength. He's the one that is supposed to be carrying heavy load. No, I'm supposed to live a soft and baby girl life. So we need to practice support. Because we need to be able to normalize accepting, being able to receive, and knowing when to ask for help. Like I had earlier said, if you don't ask for help, you end up breaking. And breaking, when you break, you're not going to help anybody. You're not going to help your family will suffer for it, your business will suffer for it, your community, all those people that you were trying to be strong for, they're going to suffer from your burnout more than you would suffer for it. So it's important to know when to ask for help, and not saying, oh, I'm so super strong. No, no, no. When Just calm down and enjoy your softness as a woman, and be honest with yourself, and then build circles that you can be safe spaces. We need to be able to start building safe spaces for ourselves, and find a circle of women that you can be comfortable around. Even men, it doesn't have to be only women, and a space that you can be very open with yourself is a safe. That's why it's a safe space. You can unburden yourself without being judged, without being uncomfortable, without trying to impress anybody. And then that would help you realize that being resilient is when is possible, and is good, is more achievable when you have support. So you can only be resilient, you can only be strong when you're supported. So that is very, very critical. Find those safe spaces. Find that somebody that you can be accountable to, that can hold you accountable as well. So find those, that is very, I think that's one thing we're lacking in the society. Safe spaces that people can be comfortable without being judged, without trying to impress anybody, without trying to say, oh, I'm doing well. No, I'm not doing okay. I'm not okay today. I had a lousy day today. I feel like I'm breaking. I feel like everything is going wrong. And you have people around you say, okay, tell me what happened. How do you, not people trying to help you, trying to judge you, but trying to, okay, just calm down. Calm down. Tell us what happened. Okay, well, these things happen. What are the things you feel you could have done, or how do you think you can get it better? How do you move from, just getting that support enough. They say a problem shared is a problem half solved. So once you've shared it, it's at least that weight alone of unburdening it gives you a lot of relief. It's one problem first solved, that, okay, I'm not holding in too much, because when you start holding a lot of things in, it's also not healthy as well. You need to let these things out, because keeping things in doesn't help anybody. So let it out, but just find the right spaces that you can let it out. And like I said, it doesn't have to be only women. You can have a safe space that comprises of men as well, as long as you feel comfortable with around those people, and you feel those people share the same value as yourself, and they understand some of the challenges or some of the things, and you kind of like have things in common, and you're aligned, and you can even have space communities or spaces along different areas of your life. You can have a space that you talk about professional things, you can have a space that you talk about spiritual things, you can have a space that you talk about relationship, marriage, your children, different things. So just find those spaces and leverage it and just latch into it, like like your life depends on it, and you find out that you get all the support you want. So the question I would leave everyone with is, how strong am I? Yeah. And it's not going to be just that, it's also, how supported am I? So you need to look at how strong am I, and also how supported am I? Because unshakable women are not women who never need help, right? They are women who know how to remain grounded, connected, and care for, even in their pressured seasons. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That is, wow, powerful. Thank you so very much. So I'm gonna open it up. Do we have anyone that has any questions, any comments, or or just want to add something to what we've been talking about since?
So I don't know if no questions is a good sign or what sign.
Well, I don't have it. My name is Christine, and I don't have a question. Good evening, ladies. I think you just, as if you're just on, like, you're on fire, like you just been spitting it out, like from all in all dimensions, in all ramifications. Like, I just want to say thank you for sharing. I mean, it's a lot of information, and I really agree with a lot of the things that you said. One of the things that stuck to me is about the ones on boundaries, because if we don't know how to say no, other people will take advantage of us. And some people know how to ask, they never know how to stop. So if you don't stop them, then they will stop you. As in, like, some people will it's like taking blood out of you until you're no longer alive. As in, if you allow them, they will take that from you. So sometimes, as you say back home, sometimes you have to give yourself sense and know when to stop. If not for yourself, at least for the sake of those that you represent, for your families and for your loved ones. Because if you give everything out there, then you have nothing to give to those that you are responsible for and those who you are accountable to. But more importantly, I think women should learn how to say no, even to families sometimes, because at the end of the day, it's just one you, and it's not replicable at the end of the day. It's not like you can clone yourself on social media, but you can't clone yourself in the real life. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I don't know, Dr. Paige, do you have any comment before I call Shafatu Oladiga? You're muted.
Okay, good evening, ladies.
Quite nicely. So I don't think I have anything to add to what she said.
Okay, thank you. So Shafatu, please go ahead. So sorry about that.
No, it's fine. Good evening, ladies. I actually just bumped into the link when I picked up my phone, so I even thought probably it was done, but when I saw it was 7 to 9, that's why I still joined in. I only heard, I think, the last part of, was it 1 or 2 sentences about trying to look for a safe space where you voice out your worries and probably get advice or something like that. So I wish I was there to listen to the earlier part of the lecture, because like currently I was really, down, looking for that space that I need to pour out my worries, and I had to keep calling friends or friends calling me to discuss. In as much as I wished my spouse was there to even share those emotions with, but it's like the world currently is just full of stressors here and there, from emotional, financial, economic. So it's always good to really find someone to share these feelings with sometimes. But it's just we pray that we always at least meet someone that has good, positive advice, not the negative ones. So I wish I listened to the earlier part. So I just want to say thank you, at least for that last sentence I heard.
So I do have good news for you. The good news is everything that we've been talking about for the past 3 days is recorded.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and you will have access to it. So if you in the chat, there's a message that is pinned on the chat. He has our website, he has our email, and he does have our newsletter. When the recordings go live, we will have it, we'll send it out in our newsletter. Okay, but you can reach out to us through our email. You can just send an email to us to introduce yourself. I don't know if you're on our platform. We can add you to our platform. We do a lot of events that add value to our community. So welcome if this is your first time joining us, but you will be happy when you're listening to all these conversations. I can guarantee you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
And thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. This world is becoming something very, very interesting, and it's affecting us all at different levels. And this is why the conversation is to go on. Thank you. I don't know, Dr. Page, do you have anything you want to add before I call the
Yeah,
next?
I just want to say to Shafati that the truth is finding somebody to talk to might not be easy, and it's important to also find the right person, because a lot of times we make the mistake of choosing that wrong person. So look at the person, and like I said, you have to think of people in you don't have to have one person for all your problems, because that person cannot solve all your problems. So you might want to look for different partners or different circles that address different specific problems, and see that the values of the people align with you. Do research, do deep research about them and see who are they. Are they the type of people that you want to be associated with, or that you can share your bodies? Do their values align with your values? So you don't just jump in and then you find out that you're in a worse situation than before you even got into that circle. So do your research, understand what exactly, define, which is where that structure comes. You define exactly what you want, what your expectations are from this group, and then you start to identify the type of people that you feel fit those boxes or tick those boxes for you, and say, okay, if you don't have a community that exists, you can reach out to these people one-on-one and say, okay, I need this type of support, and I've seen you as somebody that I value, that aligns with some of the values, things that I value, or my personal value in life, and I would like you to be a partner that can support me through my journey in XYZ area, and see how that goes. But it's just, remember, it might not work the first time, it might not work the second time, but don't give up, right? Because even saying it, being able to share, like I said earlier, a problem shared is a problem half solved. Being unburdening yourself is already a heavy load that has been lifted off your shoulders. So don't feel like, oh, I might not get the answers, but sometimes, and also pray. Sometimes prayer is very good. I'm a very prayerful person, right? I believe strongly that God has an answer for us. So you might be sitting down and then somebody somewhere that you never even knew before, God will just position that person and bring that person into your life, and you find out that that is the person that you've been looking for. So pray a lot about it and trust God and believe him that he's going to see you through, because he'll never leave you and he'll never forsake you. So always remember that. So turn to him as well. And I'm 1001% sure that he'll give you the answers that you're seeking. Trust me.
Thank you. Miss Daniel.
Wow. Good evening, everyone. What a very powerful day this is. I also wanted to share my personal experience. So I am a perfectionist. It's something that has also caused trouble for me in relationships, It's caused trouble for me even at work, which maybe people I'm working with on projects, because I can come off as too serious. But from my perspective, I want us to succeed. I don't want any mistakes. I don't want to have to come back and redo something. So too much investment into it. So too much passion, I would say. So I did a coaching session. And during that coaching session, I identified the problem I had. I'm spending too much energy. I'm carrying too much burden of the group success. How can I manage this? And the coach helped made me do an exercise that was, what do I have control over? What do I not have control over? What I don't have control over, what can I influence? And I can tell you, that thing was like, like when you switch lane. So I made that list, and immediately I could see that, hey, yes, I'm passionate about this. I want this to succeed, but there's nothing, it's out of my control, but can I influence it? Right. So even when I can influence it, do I have control in that influence I'm giving? Or I don't have control over it. So, and that has really helped, because sometimes our stresses are self-inflicted. And the moment we, realize that, we'll be able to also seek the appropriate type of support. And in my case, it was that coaching session. It was a 1 month coaching session. The first day, I broke down crying. And I couldn't, it was like I went for a therapy session. So, and it was like a purging experience for me, and it really helped. So, do I not have those temptation moments where my first nature is perfectionism? Yes, I do, but I have a better control over it. And I'm like, wow, dang it, my God. And at first, I struggled with it because I was thinking, oh, am I losing my professionalism? Am I losing my passion? So, those, self doubting statements. But I was able to address it again with, do I have control over it? I don't have control over it. What can I control? And I've also used it to help other colleagues, and I've seen how it has impacted them. And then I'm like, wow, this was a game changer. So I just wanted to share that as well.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, for your authenticity. Whether we like it or not, there's certain things that we do that, even though the reason behind it is to help, but it appears to be overhanded, high-handed. And so I love, and I use that word a lot. What can you control? Period. Between me and Dr. Paige, I can only control myself. I can't control you, right? So what you can't control, you said it. We can't carry the weight of the world on our shoulder. We can't solve everything. Everybody has got to carry a little bit here or there. And that's really when it becomes a success. And we don't burn out.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Daniel. Love it, love it, love it. Once upon a time, I used to be a perfectionist. Now I just, and I still love what yes, Daniel, you know that. I just, if it's working, let's make it continue to work. It doesn't have to be 100%. Nobody is perfect, right? I don't know if you have anything you want to say before I call the next person.
So what I just want to say is, when we look at perfection, where everybody, I'm a perfectionist myself, and that's why I say I don't like to micromanage people, because in the process of trying to get that perfection, you start to do extra work, and trying to control things that you should have left, delegated, so that's why you always find the right hands and the best person to be able to do those things. So as a leader, if you're a leader in your organization, you also need to understand your team's strength and weaknesses. And rather than worry about their weakness, focus on their strength. and leverage that strength to the maximum. You know, if you're trying to give somebody a task that they're not very good at, they will struggle at it and the deliverables will be limited. But when you give them something they're exceptional at, you can only get exceptional results because that is something that they know they can close their eyes and do. So just find your strength, find your team strength, and just feed into that, right? If there are areas of improvement, you can make recommendations, but you can't control if they would adopt it or not. And knowing when to just say, this is not about me. I would only give advice. I will try, but one thing you should always try to do, even if you're trying to say, I don't have control, but also document it, put it somewhere that says, oh, I think we could have done it better this way, or make your recommendations. Doesn't mean it's going to be taken, but let it be on record that you thought of a better way to do it. So tomorrow, if there's a pushback or if there's something that happens, it's on record that, oh, but she actually said something. So you don't now say, oh, I thought it could have been better, and then I didn't say anything because I felt nobody's going to adopt it, but you never even tried. So you're not saying it because you want to force it on anybody, but you're just giving your opinion and saying, I think this could have, because that would also help in your team improvement. So don't keep it to yourself, even if you don't have influence or control over it, but at least express it that, oh, I thought we could have done it better this way, or I think this could have been a better solution. And it's up to the team. I'm not saying we should adopt it. I'm just giving you my idea. And any leader, if you're a leader yourself, you should also value that, because sometimes you might not have the best answer or the best solution. Somebody else within the team might have a better solution. So if you feel this is the way to go, or you feel this is the best perfect way to go, or this is nothing could be better, and somebody comes up with a better idea, but if you don't encourage that as well, then you'll never get that better opinion or better value. So encourage it and also practice it yourself, so that if tomorrow questions come up, it is on record that you said something. There's nothing worse than saying, I saw it all, but I said I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want anybody. No, you're just as guilty, because
that is even not professional, right?
exactly.
Just keep quiet. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just say it, and it's not up to you to decide. You can't force it. Just do what you have to do. Put in your best effort, but don't shrink yourself. That's also very important in the process of trying to be conform or trying to be not doing too much. Doesn't mean you should now take down your value, to take away from yourself. You start shrinking yourself to be able to conform to the norm. No, that is imperfection, or mediocrity is not a norm. So if you feel that mediocrity is setting into the system, you need to speak up for it as well.
Absolutely. And I do want to add something. I mean, as somebody that worked in corporate Canada, I've had, opportunity to lead a lot of large teams. And I know that most team members expect you to know and have all the answers to everything. And even when I do have answers, just by virtue of experience, time spent, and everything else, and because, for you to be at that level, you would have gone through a lot. Even when I do, when they come to me and ask me certain things, I always ask them, what do you think we should do? Right? And they always look at me like, I'm coming to you for a solution. You're asking me. I need you to think about it. Imagine you're sitting in my seat. Just imagine for a minute. And this client has this issue. What do you think we should do? And that's how you build capacity. And that way you won't be the only one, being passionate. I remember when I went back to school here, in Nigeria, I schooled in Nigeria. In Nigeria, we don't necessarily do team work. We don't do that. You're on your own. But here, you will have 2-3 teams at times. And then I realized that in the team, everybody is not really carrying their weight. And at the end of the day, the mark is for everybody. I went to my professor at that time, and I said, okay, I don't think I want to work with these people. How is it that I'm the one? And you know what she said? She said, you're going to be working in Canada. and you're going to be working in a team environment. If something is not working, you need to have that conversation with them. And these are adults, these are full-blown adults. So I learned that it's not about taking one person away from my team, it's about managing, working together, communicating so that we all carry the same weight and it's not just about me. So as women, we tend to, not that we're perfectionists as women, period. But how do we do it in such a way that it's not having negative value on the team and on ourselves? Right?
Yeah.
Thank you. So,
You
Ms.
couldn't have said it
Mokaji,
better.
thank you. I said Ms. Mokaji, I'm sorry. It could be a man. I'm sorry. Please, do you want to go ahead and make your contribution? Mokaji Olatunde, please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
I don't know if I'm in the right room.
You're in the
because I
right
can
room.
see everybody, female. I didn't join early. I think the part I joined was when she said men should carry load and females should just try and live the soft life. Whose law is that?
Now that one pay you, sir. Sorry.
No pay me. I just asked you which law, who stated the law? Everybody wants to live the soft life. I beg.
Mr. Mogaji, that's what she wants for herself. We are free to want it for ourselves too.
Oh my God.
It's International Women's Day. Let's leave them, Miko.
I'm very, very sure that it's not about women living the soft life and men during the
No, that's the part I came in. I
Okay,
jumped
so-
on that part, so I don't know what
You
was before the
didn't
part.
understand it. You didn't
concept.
understand the context.
Yeah, the
I just
context.
When
jumped
we
on that
say-
soft line. I was
When
like,
we
soft
say
life, who is
strong,
living like-
strong, soft, like when men are built with muscles, right? Naturally.
Who's-
So
no,
you
I'm
are
not built with any
stronger.
muscle.
You
You
can
said
build
I
them.
don't
Yes, definitely stronger than women. So when we say women try to be strong, they want to become, they're trying to emulate men and become Mrs. Macho. No, there's nothing like Mrs. Macho. There's no award for being macho. It doesn't mean that a woman should not be supportive in the family. It doesn't mean that the woman should not pull her weight as well. But just knowing that there's some things that you're not, it's not about strength. You don't be a strong woman. I don't like when we say strong women, as if it's a badge and a title that we're carrying, that we're trying to prove that we are macho. No, we're not. We can be soft as well. We can be, even men can be soft. As a man, so you don't have to be strong all the time. You need to be able to be soft and be able to break down and be able to share, because that is also a burden. But it's not International Men's Day. If we were having International Men's Day, then don't worry, I have response for you guys, because you guys also try to feel like you are too strong. You can carry out the load. Don't worry, I can do it. You will just die. And that's the truth. There's no award for over carrying load that you don't have business carrying alone, when you should be willing to share. So I'll leave that for now, because we are doing International Women's Day. We're talking to our women. So please allow us in our space. There was a report I saw. Let me tell you something. The report says top 10 countries that have been able to achieve gender equality. Do you know what the answer is? Zero. So please let us in our space. And I'm happy that there are men in the group as well, because I hope you're going to take this to your wives if your wives are not here. And maybe when Lady Abba shares the video, you can also ask your wives to watch it, listen to it, because they need to also, you need to support them. You need to be able to, if you want to continue to get the best out of your wife, you need to be able to give her the right structure, the right support that she needs to be able to thrive. Because if she's only able to give you the best of herself when she has something to give, if there's nothing to give, you start, frustration will set in, and you start feeling that, oh, she's becoming difficult, she's not as nice as she was. It's because she's carrying so much burden that she can't even share. So as a man, please talk to your wife, ask her, is everything okay? Is that something you want? men should create safe spaces for their wives to be able to share their burdens. They shouldn't be looking outside for those solutions as well, because we're talking about safe spaces here. The number one, the primary safe space a woman should have if she's married should be her husband. She should be able to go to him and share her pain, her burden, and he should not take it as, she's complaining. No, she might say some things that you might feel is criticizing you or is attacking you. No, she's just being herself. So allow her, encourage her, support her in any way that you can, so that you can also get the best out of your wife, because that's all we want. We just want the best for you, for her, for everybody, and for the family to thrive. And for once the family is thriving, the community is thriving, the economy is thriving, because it's all interrelated. Because if the family is thriving, there's no way a man can carry the load alone. So when you are thriving, means your woman is supporting you, right? Yes or no? So she also needs some level of emotional support in the process, as she's supporting you financially to help carry the burden of the economic burden of the family. You should also give her some level of emotional support, because women are emotional beings. So you need to understand that while we're taking on some role that men, and according to what traditionally was supposed to be, but we're still doing this thing. So men, please, even the Bible told us that you have to support your wife. You have to see her as a vessel that you are managing. The way God is, you are looking up to God as a man, the church, to support, you're looking up to God. That's the same way the woman is looking up to you as her husband, to be a shield, to be a protection over her. So fill that position, fill that role, and stop making your wife look for those support elsewhere.
So I would also add that as the wife is able to reach out to the husband for support, the husband is able to should be able to reach out to the wife for support. So it is both ways. But thank you, Mr. Mogaji. I don't know whether Mogaji is your name or title, but Mr. Latune, thank you so much for sharing. There's certain things that are in our cultures and traditions, and men are supposed to be this, men are supposed to be that. Really, as far as I'm concerned, I'm a mother of boys. I feel those traditions really, some should be reviewed, because the idea of men must be strong, men must not show emotion, men cannot cry, men cannot be soft. I don't agree to it. But what we're saying here is that some women are even trying to take the role of men by being very strong, by being unemotional, by not crying, by just taking it on. And that's what we're trying to say, that we need them to be authentic with themselves, not to pour out of an empty vessel, to know what their capacity is, and to know when to say no, so that they can take care of their mental well-being. So I hope that we've been able to address the fact that or do you have anything else you want to say before I read it?
Well, not really, but I think everything is boiled down to the new generation of parenting and everything. But to be strong as a guy or as a lady is beyond the adult. It has to start from when you are younger. That's why the new generation mothers, like the Gen Z mothers, and should just try and see how best they could incorporate that in their parenting skills. Because like an instance, let me just give an instance too. I remember when I was younger too, I went to a friend's house. It was a party, and I saw the mom washing plates. And because the way I was brought up in my own way, in my own home, saw the woman washing plates. He has a male son and he has 5 females. Because I couldn't just see myself sitting down and my friend's mom is washing plates. I went to her to collect the plate. But the daddy now said, why should I wash plates? It's lady's job. What's lady's job? In my own house, everybody has a choice. If you don't sweep, you wash plates. So I don't, if as grown as I am, even with children, when I go to my mom's house and I see her washing her clothes, even washing her undies, I will just naturally collect it from her. Because I can't imagine myself standing and be talking with you and you're washing. These are things that uh, if if a guy like me now see people talking about somebody's, that's why I said soft life. I don't know what soft life. Everybody wants to live soft life. So if you train your child very well, if you train your whatever very well, everybody will live soft life because everybody can do all these things. So me too, I want to live soft life. And so before I can live soft life, I have to make everybody around me to be able to do all these things and so that everybody is normal, everybody is equal. Male, female, I don't know, because maybe because I grew up among the ladies, out of 5 family members, just me and my dad, male. Even my own home, we are 5. I'm still the only man there. So all my life, everything about me has been living around ladies, women, and everybody. So soft life, everybody must live this soft life. Myself, I'm a female person now. So I'm celebrating the end of Women's Day for myself. So
Thank you.
we all have to live the soft life.
Thank you very much. Seriously, I love everything you said. Thank you for the supportive role that you've taken. Thank you for showing care to womanhood. Thank you for not feeling you're the all in all, but there to lend a helping hand. And that's what we're saying. As you are doing it, the expectation is that women do it too. Right? It can't. That is an adage in Yoruba. 2 hands will wash. That is when the hand will be clean. 1 hand cannot really wash and make clean alone. So thank you so very much. If you are not part of our community, we did put our website on the chat. It is pinned. Our email is there. Email us. Introduce yourself to us. Let's get to know you more. And of course, we have our newsletter where we share all the events that we have. And if you have any recommendation as to the kind of events that you would like to see, please let us know. This community is for us, by us, right? To help us. So thank you. I mean, what you said, really, to be candid, Mr. Olatunde, you didn't tell me whether Mogaji is your first name or your last name or your title. It is music to our ears. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mogad is my last name. Yeah, Olatunde is my first name.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And I'm going to go ahead and call Mr. Jekola Labi. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening. And congratulations to the women. Happy International Women's Day. Related or not, this week, I believe we will only celebrate you and agree with everything that you say and indulge all the things you want. So, again, I just wanted to add a bit of context to one of the conversations that was had earlier about being perfectionist. And I think so many people on this call have admitted to being perfectionists. Me too, I guess. And what I have learned is that over the years, the reason we're perfectionists is more about us and less about the job because it tends to show up in different aspects of our lives. Partly because one thing that I've researched on and I've seen a lot is that depending on how people responded to you or how you were treated when you made mistakes when you were younger or even in your early professional life, sometimes you become obsessed with things being right the first time so that you don't get any criticism or any negative feedback. And that's sometimes what is driving us to push other people. In reality, it's not maybe about their competence or it's not the quality of their work. It's our fear of being criticized sometimes. And it might take some deliberate work on our side to recognize that, look, yes, those situations have happened. This is not necessarily going to end up in that way. And even if I make a mistake, so what? There are many ways to deliver things, especially because I work in tech now. We used to build software so that everything works right the first time. But today, what do? The whole world now builds imperfect software as the norm. They say, ship it. If there's a bug, we release another one next week, rather than wait 1 year before we get an improvement. And so just that ideology alone has helped me reshape my thinking about how things should work. Now my approach is this. Does it work? Yes. Can it be better? Yes.
Yeah.
It can start working today. We make it better tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so I just thought I should share that based on how my professional, life sort of touches on that and how things have changed. So thank you very much.
No, thank you so very much for sharing. And you're very right. When it comes to technology, what is it they call it? Is it oh my God, I've forgotten the word when they throw something in the market and they expect the consumers to actually talk
Better
about.
version,
Sorry?
prototype. Either they do a prototype or they do a beta version. They say beta that they are testing.
I've forgotten the word, but it's not prototype, or it's like going lean. There's this you drop in.
An MVP.
MVP,
What's MVP?
minimum viable product.
Thank you. Minimum viable product. You just throw it in, and then everybody goes on their way. And when consumers use it, they realize that there's a problem, then they go back. So thank you so much for actually bringing that analogy, because the idea of a perfect world is no longer existent. Let's do, the best we can with whatever we have, and we'll continue to improve on it. So thank you. That's a really good way to turn around the perfectionist part of us. So, Miss Dr. Paige Afanu, we are finishing off. Any last words that you want to share before we do a vote of thanks? We want to finish by 9 p.m. exactly.
Okay, so my last words is in a pressured. I had a closing statement actually. So I say, in a pressured world, women do not need more performance. We need more truth, more support, more healthy boundaries, and more permission to be whole. Being unshakable is not about becoming hard. It is about becoming rooted in your worth, in your identity, and in the practices that protect your well-being. When a woman stops measuring herself only by what she can carry and starts honoring what she needs to remain well, she becomes powerful in a deeper and more sustainable way for herself, for her family, for her community, for her nation. Thank you so very much for this opportunity. And thank you to all the contributors, the questions, the sharing. I've had an amazing time. Thank you, Lady Aber. Thanks to everybody for staying on. I know we had done almost 2 hours, and I didn't think we'll do that long, but thank you all so much for the session and the engagement too.
Thank you so very much. So on behalf of Council of African Professionals, we want to say a huge thank you to you, Dr. Paige Afanu. It was a very, very passionate, thought-provoking, learning session. And to everybody that attended, and of course, all the contributors, really, our allies, thank you so much. This is why we do what we do, learn from each other. And I'm sure we're taking away one thing or the other. Like I said, these sessions are all recorded. They will be made available as soon as possible. If you don't already know us, check us out on our website, capngo.ca. Our new email is capprofessionals.org@gmail.com. And of course, sign up for our newsletter so that you're aware of what's happening in our space. And if you have any idea at all, let's co-create together. We know for sure that we want to do women and AI training, for sure. And
yes, we need to talk.
Absolutely. And any other programs that you feel will be relevant, please let us know. This session continues. It's a week long. We won't finish until Saturday. So we have different women from different, if you joined us from the beginning, you'll see the caliber of women that we have, different professionals, different expertise, different skill sets that will be coming to, share, and we'll talk together, we'll reason together, and we take away nuggets from this. So thank you all, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 7 p.m. with another speaker. Thank you, and I wish you a fantastic rest of the evening. Bye now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.